Alex from SC Films. So today I'm going to be talking about some different cases for the iPad Pro. So a couple of weeks back I picked up the iPad Pro 2020 model with this great Smart Folio from Apple. It did have a couple of downsides though, like not being able to protect the sides properly if it falls. And mine actually did fall once off the bed and got a couple of nasty scratches here on the corner. I'm not sure if you can quite see that, but they're very visible. They're not on the screen, so I'm happy about that. But it's a little bit annoying that you get a device that costs around €1,000 and then the first time it falls, it already has a little bit of damage. So I was a bit annoyed by that. So that triggered me to go and try some of the different cases available on Amazon. So we have the ESR Urban Premium Folio. We have another ESR case, and this is the Wächter stand case. And then a similar design to the Wächter stand case. We also have the Ztotop case. So each one of these cases has different pros and cons. So for example, the Smart Folio from Apple, I really like the fact that it's so light. It's attached to the back with a magnet. It's also quite strong. So it definitely is nice to, for example, be using in tablet mode like this. Or if you have it in its lying down mode, it's quite stable to type on and to do some drawing. The only issue I have with it is sometimes I'm using it, for example, next to my computer and I want to use it as a second screen. Or I want to have it on my lap, we're watching something either in bed or on the couch. And something about this design that just doesn't really work for me. If I have it up on my lap and I start typing against it, or I want to do anything that involves a little bit more pressure and I'm not just lightly tapping it, then it falls over instantly. So a lot of the other designs for cases, such as the OtterBox, also available from Apple, use the same design actually for the back flaps. So you really only have the two settings. You can either lie it down for typing and working on it, or you can stand it up for when you want to watch a movie. But what do you do when you want something in between? So I decided, okay, this is not going to work for me. It also won't protect it very well if it falls. Let's go try some of the top rated cases from Amazon. So if we take a look at the first one. So I've actually rated all these different cases on a couple of different points. So we have looks, we have weight, typing stability, drawing stability, the materials used for the case, how it actually feels, how the buttons feel, how it is when you're using the tablet while holding it, just hear it like this in your hands, and also how much protection does it provide. And lastly, a price versus quality score. So each point I scored on the basis of 10, and from that I got a total score. So if you want to see the total score, just go to the end of the video. You can see the link down in the description. But first we're going to take a look at the Apple iPad Smart Folio. So if I grab this one, it has a few issues. It's a great looking case. I mean, it feels phenomenal. It really is amazing. It's very, very light. The iPad itself is about 650 grams, give or take, depending on if you have an Apple Pencil or not. It's a little bit more. Without the pencil, it's a little bit less. But this case is amazing because it's only 242 grams. So that actually means that the weight of the device doesn't become a lot heavier. It's also quite nice that, you know, the Apple Pencil just sticks on with a magnet. It's very easy to pull it off, to use it. And also if you have it in a bag, it is quite stable. It's not just gonna fall off the device. My biggest qualm with this one is when I have it set up in this mode and I'm trying to type, it doesn't feel right. You know, the ergonomics of it are not set up in a way that it actually feels comfortable to type on. Or if you're using an Apple Pencil, doing some drawing, it's also pressure sensitive. So if I'm really pushing, you can really see that it just doesn't feel stable. It doesn't feel very nice to work with. And typing, the same issue. This feels okay, it's just the angle that doesn't really work. So it'd be amazing if Apple actually had a couple of other options that, for example, you could put it somewhere halfway. This for me is a great typing position and also for drawing. Or even have it stand up even straighter. And that's better for me, for example, when I'm on the home trainer and I'm doing some cycling in the house, or if I have it set up next to the iMac and I want to use it as a second screen. The case just didn't give me enough options. And honestly, for €119, I think it's way too overpriced for simply a couple of magnets, some soft protective material on the inside, and then this plastic material on the outside. I have to say, I've had it for a couple of weeks now, and you can see that there's almost no markings, none that I can see at least. So it's quite good if you have to clean it, and just for general daily use, but it doesn't protect it. So let's take a look at the first one that actually gives a bit more protection, that has quite a high rating on Amazon, and that's the ESR Urban Premium Folio. The reason I wanted to test this one out is because it's also quite thin. Of the three other ones that I have lined up here, it's also the lightest of the three at 339 grams, so it doesn't bring a lot of girth and weight to an iPad, which is already quite heavy for a tablet. So let's take off the Apple Folio and click it in here. One big issue with all these cases is they each have their own pros and cons, and you really just have to take a look and see which one fits best for your use case, essentially. So this is an interesting design. It only has two of these little rivels to kind of like put the tablet in to keep it a bit more stable. Once it's in there, it is quite stable. It does have quite a bit of movement though, like the iPad, the original Apple Folio. You could also put it the second setting. But again, I'm missing a good typing setting. The only way I'd be able to do it is to have it down here, and then it's just, it's flimsy. It's pretty useless. What I do like about this though is they do provide a loop to be able to hold the Apple Pencil in a little bit stronger. So if you're always on the go and you're worried you might lose your pencil, then this definitely is a good option for something small, skinny, light, protects the pencil well. Some things I don't like so much about it, for example, are these buttons. If you can see, these buttons are actually little cutouts. They feel good, but I'm just not sure how long they will actually be able to keep their stability, because they're only attached to the case through a really thin piece of plastic here on the side. So that worries me a little bit about the buttons. For the rest, the speaker holes are perfectly lined up, the hole for charging, the microphones here at the top, and it looks pretty nice. I mean, it does have a premium look to it. I'm just not too sure about the materials on the inside, because if I hold my tablet like this, very often I'll put my thumb here on the side, and it feels okay. It feels very plasticky. For example, this side is fine. The other side, because it only has the connection at the top and the bottom to leave space for the Apple Pencil, you can see that the plastic, it's not really protecting it properly. So I think also if it falls at the wrong angle or a little bit of a height, you do have the potential issue of it actually popping out of this case. But anyways, if you want something very similar in weight and feel to the original Apple case, then the ESR Urban Premium Folio is a pretty good option. Oh, can't get it out now. Come on. There you go. So as you can see, it definitely has a premium look, but it doesn't have that premium feel that the Apple one does. So that's the ESR Urban Premium Folio. And then if we move across to a second ESR product, I figured I wanted to try this because it also has a little groove here to store the Apple Pencil. So when you're not using it and you're traveling, you can just pop it in here. And that way it won't fall off the tablet or fall out of your bag or anything. So that's quite nice. For the rest, what's good about this one is that it does have more options. So you can put it at more different angles. And if I pop the tablet in there, always the bottom first to make sure that that's lined up. And then the top. This is stable. This feels really good. So if I want to type on here, you can see no movement whatsoever. If I then grab my Apple Pencil, by the way, how these stay in here is actually with magnets. So when you move it around, it keeps its position. But yeah, so the Apple Pencil, if I'm typing, if I'm drawing, I mean, it all feels very smooth and very, very, very nice to work with. The protection actually goes around the whole side, whereas with the other ESR product, with the Urban Premium Folio, it was open here and it provided this loop to hold the Apple Pencil. This design's a little bit different, so the protection goes across the entire side of the device, so it will protect it a lot better if that happens to fall. The buttons, even though they're a similar design, they're attached on both sides, so I also expect these to break a little less quickly. Everything lines up nicely for the rest. And through this plastic piece here at the top, the magnets from the Apple Pencil still work. So you can just place it on here. It might be a little less stable than when it's directly against the side of the tablet because you have that space in between, but it feels good. It feels like it's not going to just fall out the moment it hits against something. So that's nice about this one. So this one is actually the heaviest of the ones I have here. This one comes in at 590 grams. So it's pretty close to the weight of the iPad without any accessories. That for me is a bit of a downside. I'm somebody who does like to take my device around a lot, and it's starting to feel a little bit more like the weight of a laptop. Because if you add that up, you're sitting above a kilo, about 1.2 kilos. I believe that's the same weight as I believe a MacBook Pro is 1.3 and a MacBook Air is 1.1. So you're really getting into MacBook territory when you look at purely at the weight of the device. So this is the ESR Wächter stand case. One one thing that I really don't like about this one is simply that you can kind of see it here. It's not extremely stable when sitting like this. So what you tend to have is if you put it on your legs, or if you're not on a flat surface that lines this up perfectly, then this tends to go back a little bit. So it is stable, it just doesn't feel like it's built to last. I think that the first thing that will break on this case is actually here on the connecting strip, because there is so much movement in it. If you're doing that every single day, then eventually it's just gonna tear. The magnets to hold it up here at the bottom are reasonably strong, so it feels good. It's a stable device. It's a good device. And considering this one only comes in at 30 euros, the other ESR is a little cheaper. It's about 23 euros. They're both about, what would it be? Less than a quarter the price of the Apple Smart Folio, although they do provide quite a bit more protection for such an expensive device. And now moving on to the last one I have here. This is the Ztotop. I was kind of between this and the Zugo case. Those are the ones I saw the most reviews about, the most good reviews. We have a problem with Zugo case. It's only available in the US. You can buy it via Amazon Germany, for example, but then they have to import it from the States, and you can only get it delivered to an address in Germany. Luckily, my parents live in Berlin, so that makes it a little bit easier because I just get it sent to them and they can send it through. If I was going to buy it straight from the States, then I would have to pay import tax, I would have to pay sales tax, and it just gets a little pricey. Especially when you consider this one, the Ztotop. This one comes in about 37 euros, and the Zugo case is double, it's 63. But I have ordered it, it's on the way, so when it arrives I will show you my comparison of this one to the Zugo, because they seem like the ones that are the most similar to each other. But anyways, now to the Ztotop. So what's nice about this one really provides very good protection. So the top of the tablet is here, and it provides this whole section. So if it does fall, your Apple Pencil is safe in here. The tablet is very safe. It feels sturdy. One thing I do like about this one is, as I said, very often I do hold my tablet like this while using it, and I'm not getting a feeling of instability here on the ridge. So it feels very well designed. Also, the issue with the ESR, that here in the middle, that it's not so strong, and I'm a little bit worried about tears. This one doesn't actually have that. So I do have less settings here, but I have the most used settings. The other one, I believe it had 8 different settings. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 even. And this one only has 6. Put it somewhere in the middle. As you can see, when I lift it up, it does have that movement in it, but it's not as pronounced, and it doesn't bounce backwards. It only kind of comes down a little bit. Very strong magnet on this one. This is really great. So very often when I'm using it in the house, I'll just have it sit in there, pick it up, move it somewhere else, sit it down, and it just stays together as one unit. That's a little less so with the ESR. It doesn't have that same kind of stability with the magnets when they're in the grooves. So yes, thus far, out of the ones I got from Amazon, this definitely is my favorite. One thing I don't like so much is with the Apple Pencil in there. If you're someone who likes to quickly grab the pencil out, it can be a little bit finicky. You really have to kind of tease it out. It does have a space here at the back to push your finger through. I've got quite big fingers though, so when I'm pushing it through, I kind of have to do a little bit of gymnastics to kind of get that thing out. So that's a little annoying. It'd be nice if they could have had some other ridge or something here at the top, so it should be easier to get it out. But anyways, onto the buttons. The buttons on this one definitely are the best. I would even say that these feel better than the original buttons that they're pressing down inside on the iPad. So I'm really happy with the feel of these buttons. They feel very, very strong. They got a good, I don't know if you can hear that. They got a good click to them. So yeah, the ridge, it goes above the tablet screen. Everything lines up really, really well. So thus far, of all the cases you can get for the tablet, for the iPad Pro, this definitely is my favorite for the 2020 generation. Maybe when the Zugu case comes, I will reevaluate that. But this one definitely is very, very cool. So what I'll do now is I'll just give you my my scores for all the different devices that we have here. So to conclude, with a score of 78, it's the Ztotop case for the 2020 iPad is the winner. For me, it just provides the most protection. It might not be the lightest case, it may not be the prettiest case. I'm especially not really a fan of all the Ztotop marketing. You have some etching there on the back, and you have a logo there at the bottom. So those are things that compromise I'm going to have to make to have something that protects my iPad well. So as I mentioned, I did order the Zugu case for the iPad. When it comes in, I'll compare it to this one, and we'll see which one is going to win out in the end. So maybe you've already seen it. I was looking at other accessories as well because I wanted to set up my iPad next to the iMac, and I'm not sure a case like this, even though I can get it up almost upright, will really cut it. So tomorrow I'll be posting the video reviewing all these different stands, and we'll see which one comes out on top. I think it'll be a pretty interesting comparison. There's enough variation here to get a winner. So thanks for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content.